This is Behind the Brand, and I'm Angelica DeLeon, and we're here today with my mentor, the queen of real estate, Rosa Kennedy Gonzalez. Thank you for being with me today, Rosa.
Oh, thank you, Angelica. It's my pleasure to be here.
So excited. So I'm actually over to you because we're currently at her house, which is gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. And so a little bit more about Rosa. Rosa, obviously, she's a real estate queen. She has a degree in biology from Keene University and years of experience in the biology, microbiology fields at companies like Colgate and LabCorp. Rosa shifted her focus from education, where she thrived as a bilingual teacher for 11 years. 11 years before transitioning over to real estate. And since 2014, Rosa has been a full-time real estate agent with Real Broker, different brokerages, but currently a Real Broker. She's licensed in New Jersey, was previously licensed in New York, so she has experience there as well, and is fluent in English and in Spanish. She has earned the Circle of Excellence Award for consecutive years, showcasing her high sales volume and commitment to excellence in real estate. Rosa's vast experience in sales, customer service, and her expansive network make her a trusted advisor and, in my eyes, the queen of real estate. So I'm so excited we're doing this, Rosa. We've been talking about doing this for some time now. So let's just jump right into it.
Yes.
So share with the people that are listening right now.
Yeah.
Your experience first of all, you have a very unique experience in microbiology and all of that jazz. You were a teacher for 11 years.
Yes.
First of all, what made you transition into real estate, and what kind of skills did you bring over from teaching to real estate that have made you this successful?
Yes. So, first of all, I want to say thank you so much. I love that introduction, and thank you for taking the time to do this interview. So I'm super excited. Okay, yes. So I taught for 11 years as a bilingual ESL teacher, and one of the things I learned as a teacher is obviously you have to have a lot of patience, you have to explain, you have to teach. So I took those skills and then I put them into real estate with clients. So teaching them the process, explaining to them the process of buying, of selling, and then the patience. That's the patience came in.
The patience you need.
Exactly. And educating them as well, because you have to educate people sometimes, especially if they're not familiar with of the process of buying or selling a house.
Okay. So you would say like number one skill was patience.
I would say definitely patience.
Okay. Yeah.
And also being able to explain the process.
Okay. So kind of like the way you would explain kids, like explain things to a kid, although we know you're not kids, but
Yes.
that's kind of the energy, right? Like you're
Yeah.
trying to simplify it enough for someone who's buying their home for the first time to really understand you.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. So simplify, finding ways that will make sense when you're explaining it to people, and then making sure that they understand.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. So I happen to know, the audience doesn't know, but I happen to know that you and your husband do teamwork. So
Yes.
everyone, she sells and he constructs, he builds. So that's a dynamic duo. Absolutely a dynamic duo. What advice would you give someone that is looking for a construction team to hire to, let's say, remodel their new home? Since your husband has taught you a lot about the insides of the construction industry, something that an average American does not know about, what are some green flags and some red flags that you would say people should look out for when they're looking for a construction team?
Yes. Okay. So definitely, if you are looking to renovate a house, basically either you're trying to flip it or you're trying to you buy a house that needs a lot of work and you're going to live in it, whatever the case. Definitely the most important thing you need to do is you need to interview your contractor. You need to make sure that they have some experience, or they have experience, basically that they have experience in managing the project. So that's number one, which is like one of the things that we do. My husband is always making sure that everything's running smooth, knowing the right team of people to get the job done, especially like, let's say you're going to do an addition on the property.
Yes.
You need to have the right team, because you don't want to
Absolutely.
just have anyone put a second edition and then it
and mess up
falls.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
So definitely stuff like that. You need to make sure you have the right team.
Quality team. Quality.
So
So quality team.
so yeah. So one of the things that you definitely need to look for is a team that has knowledge. So experience definitely is important. You know, the other thing that you need to be looking for is a contractor that you can communicate with.
Okay.
So
Communication is key.
communication is key. You need to have a good communication. You need to talk to each other and understand each other very well. And some of the red flags that I would say, definitely red flags is if you reach out to the person and they don't get back to you right away. Red flag.
Red flag.
Red flag. If they're not getting back to you right away,
It's like almost you're dating your contractors and you're trying to see who's the guy who's going to be the or the woman. There's some women contractors, but who's going to be the last one standing, basically.
Yeah. Cool. So you basically want to make sure that the people that you are hiring to renovate your house, that again you can reach out to them. If you can't get a hold of them, red flag.
Red flag.
Second red flag is if they ask you for the money up front.
Red flag.
Red flag, especially if you haven't worked with them in the past. So, you know, as you establish a relationship with this contractor, maybe later on in other projects, I would say, okay, you know, you could maybe give them a certain amount up front because you know that you trust them. But if they ask you for a big chunk of money up front, and
red flag.
I would say red flag because you never know. They might take off and then
that's where
you've lost your money.
That's where the horror stories come in.
Yes,
we don't want those.
So we don't want those. And again, like Kennedy's Home Improvements, you know, we don't do that. We
come over here, basically. Yes, if you need renovations done, come over here. Mark, which is Rosa's husband's name, will renovate and she will sell even interior design.
Yes,
you should see her backyard. It's so beautiful. Everything she touches is just beautiful. It's true. It's truthful. So okay, my perspective of you and your family is very much so like how I grew up. I grew up in a family business. We always did, you know, my parents did like trucking and transportation and all that stuff.
Yes.
And you and your family have done real estate and you have taught your daughter everything she knows about entrepreneurship. And she's branched out and done her own things with yoga and real estate as well.
Yes.
So look into that camera right there and let's make pretend that the girls that are watching this, those are your daughters. You are their mother. And you're giving them advice on, you know, what they should be doing if they want to start a business or if they currently have a business.
If they have a business. Okay.
One piece, one token that you would give to them that you might have already told your daughter.
Yes.
In private or in public or whatever you feel like, you know, you want to share, but definitely like one token that you can share.
Okay, yeah, no, so that's really nice. Definitely an advice I would give to any young woman out there who is either trying to start a business or they have their business and they just started. I would say that you can definitely do it. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that your business is going to happen and it's going to grow and it's going to be successful. The other thing I would definitely say, save. Okay. So when you're starting, you have to save money.
Is there like a percentage of, like, let's say someone's making X amount of money a year. Is there a percentage of that annual income that you would suggest for them to save?
It all depends, you know, because everybody's different. So it all depends on their expenses and such. So I guess that's where you have to kind of figure it out of where, you know, maybe you got to cut back. So instead of buying the Chanel purses or, you know, those fancy things, you cut back on that for a while and save and save.
Sacrifices have to be made.
Yes. So one advice is definitely sacrifice. You have to sacrifice, and that might mean maybe for the first year you're not traveling anywhere, or maybe for the first year you're saving and cutting back on buying some fancy stuff. But you know what, at the end that's gonna pay off because all that money you're saving, now you can use that money to buy real estate, or invest in your business so it can grow. And yeah, you know, so that's definitely the advice I would give you. Like, first, believe in yourself. And second, save.
Okay.
Try to manage and sacrifice so
Okay.
that you're able to get your business to grow.
I love
And
that.
yeah,
Believe, save,
and
and
sacrifice.
sacrifice. I was almost going to forget it, but
Yeah,
sacrifice.
sacrifice certain things for the first few
Love
years,
that.
but then it'll pay off at the end.
Okay. Love that.
Yeah.
And okay, so my last open-ended, I would say, question for our real estate chat for today.
Yeah.
You've been in the business for quite some time now.
Yes.
What are certain shifts that you've seen in the market, especially now with this whole new law that's been passed down? And if you're a realtor and you're listening, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yes.
If you're not a realtor and you're interested in investing, this new law in New Jersey, New York, actually the entire country, I think it was passed.
Yes.
It's very important for everyone to kind of just understand from different perspectives how it affects all of us. But that's just one piece. In all the years that you have been in real estate, what have those shifts looked like and how have you adapted to those shifts?
Yeah. So I've been doing real estate now for 11 years. When I first started, I was part-time. So I was teaching and then I was doing this part-time. And I do remember the first few years, it was slow. It was hard, because as a new agent, you have to get yourself out there. So I remember the first 2 years or so, I was just getting myself out there. But I also had a full-time job. So it was just managing. And then, of course, my business just started growing. So one of the things that I do notice from when I started to now is that back then, I felt like you had a lot of more as a new agent.
Okay.
You had more opportunities to advertise in certain platforms.
Okay.
So what I've noticed is throughout the years, those same platforms have become so expensive.
Yes.
That right now only certain agents that have the money to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month. I feel like they're kind of like taking over,
like monopolizing.
Yeah. So I don't agree with, because I do feel like all of us should have an opportunity to advertise and get clients.
Okay.
But I did notice like these certain platforms, obviously, whoever's gonna pay the most money, those are the people that are gonna get the most more leads, whatever.
Yes.
So yeah, so what I've seen throughout the years is these certain platforms, at one point they were very accessible to pretty much anyone, and the prices weren't so bad. And throughout the last few years, it's just gotten out of control. So that's one of the things. The second thing, obviously, the rates have come up. So when I started real estate, which was like 2013 or those years, so yeah, 2013, 2014, the rates were actually much lower. And the prices of the homes obviously were lower. And throughout the years, houses have been going up and up. The rates were kind of still pretty low, which allow for many people to still afford.
Of course.
And I've noticed that after COVID, everything just started going up. A lot of people from New York started moving more to New Jersey those years, creating just everything to go up, but the rates went up.
Got it.
So that kind of affected the market a bit. Right now, what we're seeing is also the same thing. Rates are still high. Houses are still high. The competition is still pretty strong. So, I mean, definitely those are some of the things I've noticed. And then now with this new law, that this new thing that we have to follow as real estate agents, where, basically buyer's agents, the buyer has to pay the buyer's agent. So although there's still a chance that the seller will still help with the commissions, but it's a definitely a new change now.
So would you suggest anyone who's interested into getting into real estate right now, 2 words? I would say run run run. Those are the 2 words I would say. What is something new that you would say, just like a sentence of like, how you're getting into it right now?
What advice would I give to the new people?
With this new law, with how you've seen the markets shift, you've been in this for a minute, like what would you tell them coming into it right now?
So what I would tell anyone who is trying to get into this business of selling real estate is that they have to prepare themselves, because it might not be easy. Um, Now, again, like with any business
Yes.
that you're trying to get into, it's just not easy right away. It takes time. But I do feel like, you know what, you still have the opportunity to help people, help them either selling their home or buying their home, so you can definitely still do it. You just have to understand that it might just be a little bit more challenging.
Okay.
But again, if you believe in yourself and if you work hard at making sure you help your clients, you get clients, try to find ways on growing your clientele, then it can definitely happen. And then of course, it's always important to have a good mentor.
Yes.
Or
I
somebody supporting.
have the best mentor. She is my mentor. I have the
Thank
best
you
mentor.
so much.
It's true.
No, you do need to have somebody that supports
Yes.
and that is able to at least guide you, and you know, this way you can grow in
Yes.
the business. But it's definitely doable. I would not say run, get out and run, but I would say definitely it's not gonna be like what people might make it out, you know,
Glamorous,
to be.
as glamorous, because real estate is glamorized for sure.
Yeah, because of the shows.
Yeah.
The $1 million listing shows.
Although I really like that one. The $1 million listing I like because they do real deals.
Yeah.
But there are other shows, and I'm not going to name them because I don't talk poorly on productions. I know how hard it is to produce something.
Yeah.
But there are other shows that just, it's very glamorized. You don't see anyone closing anything. It's almost like that's not reality.
Exactly. Well, it's TV,
yes.
you know, so everything on TV, they have to make it look really fancy, really different, you know, from real life.
Yes.
But in real life, though, you definitely have to work really hard. So another advice that I would give also to new people is definitely have a plan B.
Okay.
So if you're starting, I would definitely say, okay, maybe have another job on the side.
That's, yeah.
And maybe start part-time. Don't go into this full-time, because you don't get paid until you sell a house.
Yes.
And sometimes a deal won't close until like 3-4 months later,
Yes.
you know, from the time that the offer gets accepted. So, you know, relying on that, I mean, that's just it's gonna be hard to survive on that.
Yeah.
So having another job to help fund, you know, your living and everything while you're growing your real estate is one advice I guess I would give to people, so they don't find themselves broke.
She does this all the time. Just like such basic, like broke, but in such a, like, you know, the demeanor, just so straight up
to the point.
The demeanor, but yes, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Broke. You don't want to end up like that.
Yes.
Okay,
no, for sure.
So all right, so
or another thing too is you can still do your real estate and maybe get into investing.
Yes.
So you as a real estate agent, now you're finding your own deals. You're also doing your own thing. So
which is, I think that for sure. Like,
yeah.
I've said this sometime this week earlier. I was having a conversation with a cousin, and I told her, I believe every single person should get their real estate license, even if you don't practice, because you're going to purchase a home once, even if it's just one home in your entire lifetime, you'll purchase at least one.
Yes.
And there's some people that are very ambitious and, you know, are blessed to buy multiple. Knowing the laws, knowing the back end of how all of this happens is a good, it's a good thing.
Definitely,
so you know what your real estate agent is doing, and you don't feel like they're kind of not doing the right thing. You'll also know who to hire, who to fire. Like, you have the knowledge. Knowledge is key in this business, I think.
No, that's really important. Yeah, that's true.
Perfect. And then I would say let's get into, we have a very quick fire kind of truth or myths.
Okay.
We'll have 3 of them.
All right.
The first one, these are just things that people, I mean, I see it all the time on social media or on Google. And when I see it and I hear it, I go, that's not true. But people, you know, the media is consumed and people believe what they see sometimes and they believe what they hear.
Okay.
But we're here to dispel all of these things and give you the truth.
Let's see.
Number 1, the spring is the best time to sell a house. Truth or myth?
I'm gonna say it's a myth, because honestly, any time of the year is a good time to sell your house.
Beautiful.
and also even to buy a house. So it's just all about when is your time,
Love that.
So
Very unique.
yes.
Okay. Perfect.
But the one thing I'm gonna say though is that during the spring and early summer, it's just the weather that's super nice.
Okay.
So you can maybe make your backyard really beautiful to attract buyers.
Okay.
That's just like
those things make a difference.
That does make a difference.
Yeah.
So that's why spring, a lot of people you do hear like, oh, spring is always like the busy season because the weather is clearing up. If you live in an area where it's winter,
yes,
the spring is clear. The weather is nice. The leaves are coming in. The flowers.
Like you want to get out of bed on a Sunday and go to an open house.
Create a lot more people to come out. But honestly, it is a myth because any time of the year in any part of the country really is a good time to buy or sell.
Perfect. Okay, so number 2. You should always price your home higher than what you expect to get so you have room to negotiate. Truth or myth?
So that's a myth because there's really honestly the right way of doing it is you have to make sure you price the house right.
Okay.
Based on comparables. Only because you have a big chance of whoever buys your house is going to come with financing with a bank.
Comparables, just for the audience that may not be aware of it, comparables are...
So basically you compare to other properties. So you compare your house to other properties that have sold in the area, similar to your home, and basically that's kind of like the value of your house. So comparing to maybe a house, maybe your next door neighbor just sold the house and it's similar to yours in every way.
Okay.
So that's a good comparable because now you can say, oh wow, okay, so his house sold for this amount. This is how much my house can sell for.
Beautiful.
Maybe even more if your house has more features or whatever. But yeah, so that's what a comparable is. So you definitely want to sell your house based on comparables. However, to be honest with you, the value of a house, it can be any value, honestly. So if somebody's willing to pay for that, that's the value.
That's what they say. Like a house is only worth as much as someone else is willing to pay for it. Yeah.
So yes. But so listing it at a really high price, that could be a strategy. Yeah, that could be a strategy that could work. I mean, it's always something that you could try.
Just shoot in the dark and see if it works, and then let us know.
Honestly, yeah. But yeah, so the best way is just making sure that you price it accordingly. Yes.
Okay, beautiful. And the last one is the kitchen and bathroom are the most important rooms to renovate for increasing your home's value. Truth or myth?
So that I believe is true.
Okay.
Because honestly, the kitchen is like the place where everybody wants to be at, right? And they're cooking, the family hangs out there. So you want to have a beautiful kitchen, and if you're selling your house, the buyer, when they walk into your house, they're gonna look at that kitchen and be like, oh my gosh, this kitchen is so beautiful.
Yes.
Now they want to buy your house, and maybe even pay top money. But yes, so renovated kitchens, renovated bathrooms bring value, increase the value of your property.
Beautiful.
But aside from that, though, you also have to maybe touch up other things in the house too. Like, you don't want to just have a beautiful kitchen and a beautiful bathroom,
and then everything else is
falling apart.
No, that's a no. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. And that concludes our truth and myth section. So finally, to wrap everything up, last question. This is called Behind the Brand, and you have a brand of a couple of things. You're a mother, you're a wife, you're a real estate agent, real estate investor, real estate mentor, a sister, a daughter, all of these beautiful things. That's how I see you. But what is your brand in your own words, and what do you want your legacy to be?
Okay, so I would say my brand would be just this whole real estate industry. Okay. So I wouldn't say like a specific name. It's not like I have like a specific name, but I guess just my name, Rosa Gonzalez-Kennedy.
She's a Kennedy. She's a Kennedy. I have a myth. I think Mark was a Kennedy for sure.
So yeah, no, you're so funny. So definitely, I would say my brand is just me, Rosa Gonzalez-Kennedy, as a real estate agent, but also a real estate investor where I also focus in renovating homes, making
Mm-hmm.
sure, that it's just helping out with keeping up with sometimes making the neighborhoods nicer. So
Yes.
sometimes we've gotten houses that maybe it's like the nicest house in the neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
and now because of that house, all the other homes now their value goes up.
Yes.
So now, but not only that though, but it just creates a nice neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like my legacy would be that I'm helping people in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm creating, I'm making dreams happen for people
Mm-hmm.
by owning a home or by buying a house that is move-in ready, beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's done nicely.
Okay, I love
So
that.
yeah.
So you'll leave your legacy as leaving this world a better place. Literally.
Yeah, exactly. So
Literally.
yes, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Okay.
Yes. So that
Okay.
would, yes, I think that would be the legacy.
Love that. Okay, well, thank you so, so much, Rosa. This was so exciting. We have been planning this forever, but this was Rosa Kennedy Gonzalez, and I'm Angelica DeLeon, and that was Behind the Brand. Thank you. Bye.